Good morning, my beautiful angels. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's saying, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm doing good. And I know, but we're not all saying that, are we? No. And it's okay. We have good days and we have bad days, but we work through them, you know? And that's what we do, and that's what I do this work for, to help me manage my feelings better, you know, because Lord knows my feelings can be all over the place sometimes, and just like most of us. You know, so today is April 5th, 2022 here in Houston. Ooh, bright sunny Houston. No, not today. It's a little foggy. It has been the past couple days, drizzly. I haven't been able to get out and ride my bike. I haven't really, I've been, you know, when it's like this, I take it as a call to stay inside and focus and do some internal work, because Lord knows I need it. I'm still working on myself, y'all. You know, and that's why I say be patient with me too, and I try to be patient with others. You know, every day I go out and when I have to go out and encounter the public, it's hard for me sometimes, because I notice that, you know, there's a lot of people that they're having a hard time with life. Let's just put it that way. You know, having a hard time with being human, and having a hard time with having to work all the time, and that's tiring. I know it's tiring. I know it is. So being kind and compassionate, but also you can be kind and compassionate, but you don't take no shit from people either. You know, that's another thing. It's healthy boundaries, because you start letting people run all over you and taking advantage of you, and that's when little resentments start building up. So it's better to nip it in the butt. You know, you don't please everybody. You know, we don't please everybody, and it's okay. It's all right, and I've learned that. So anyways, I just wanted to come on here today, and I wanted to discuss it. Last week I said I was going to go on here and make a video. I want to discuss the 10 spheres on the tree of life, because it's very important that we get to know these spheres. I wish I would have gotten to know them a little better before I started the middle pillar, but hey, you know, everything happens for a reason, and everything was planned out. So I know that's just the way it was, how it was to work, the way it was supposed to work out. So I am going to go over that here in a little bit. But first I kind of wanted to come on here and tell y'all a little bit about myself, who I am, where I come from, what led me to high magic, why I am the way I am, why I say the things that I say. So y'all can just get to know me a little better, because I plan on doing this for quite some time, and I plan on hopefully guiding people down this path, so they can find themselves and find their souls, and find out what they're truly meant to do. You know, I've been talking to my daughter about that. That's important, to talk to our children about that, and tell them about the pineal gland too. It's very important. I've been telling her about it. You know, they don't teach these things in school. I've been going over with her a couple little rituals, nothing major, because I'm not trying to bring her into nothing to make her do anything that she doesn't want to do. I promise you that. I let her little heart guide her, and if she comes to me and asks me, that's when I show her, and she has. So it just shows me right there that God's already guiding her down the same path that I'm blessed to go down. So I'm grateful. Hallelujah. Thank you, Papa. So yeah, I just wanted to tell y'all a little bit about myself, maybe kind of like a little testimony. You know, I've never really been the type, I've had a rough life, and my family knows that and all that, but I've never been the type, even my close friends, they were always, you know, quick to always tell me, but I kind of kept things to myself and only went surface level, you know. So I want to say, these things that I'm telling you today, please don't go and, you know, gossip with anybody about them or anything. And it's not that it matters, but it does in Papa God's eyes too, you know, that always be kind and compassionate. And that's another thing. That's why I'm going to come on and I want to tell my testimony, because I want people to realize, you know, being kind and compassionate is so important, so important, so important. You know, and then also, but you don't take no caca either, okay? It's boundaries. It's boundaries, y'all. You know, and it's balance. It's balance is just as much as healthy boundaries. It's more balance. It's more balance. And so anyways, okay. So, you know, my name is Robin. I was born in Houston, Pasadena, Texas, November 5th, 1980. I'm 41 years old, and I was born to Rocky and Donna Johnson. And my parents were both drug users, very heavy drug users, before I was even born. My mom was 29, and my dad was a little younger. I believe he was 26. He was a few years younger than my mom when they got pregnant with me. And they were both heroin users, methamphetamine users, Dilaudid users, pretty much anything they could get their hands on. My mom didn't smoke pot, my dad did, but who cares about that? That doesn't matter. It was heavy drugs. My parents were methamphetamine sellers. They dealt it. They had helicopters that would fly over my grandparents' house because they had a house in their backyard, which me and my mom ended up moving into years later when I grew up. But the helicopters would fly over and tell my dad, Rocky, we're watching you. So yeah, my parents were big drug dealers, and my mom carried guns and everything. Walther PPK, she would tell me these stories. And so whenever my mom gave birth to me, she was addicted. So I came out addicted. They didn't, back then, I don't know if they did any drug tests in 80. I would have thought that they would have, but apparently they didn't. But I was sick. I did have to stay in the hospital for several days afterwards and was an incubator. I know that, but maybe they just didn't test for drugs back then. I don't know. So I then went on to go home with my mommy and my daddy. She was a wonderful mom. Just because they were addicts, they were good parents with what they knew, with what they knew how to be. And so my mom breastfed me. I was a breastfed, drug addicted baby. My mom didn't stop using. She was popping Dilaudid the whole time. I don't know if she was using the needle at that time. Who knows. And then when I was 1, I was still being breastfed. I wasn't weaned until I was about 2. So I was, then my mom was, when I was 1, she got on the methadone clinic. And so I was breastfed methadone for a year until I was 2. So there goes the first 2 years of my life. Heavy drugs. So, I can laugh about it now, It's my testimony. And, Papa God has a bigger and better things for me. But, this is the thing. This is why he uses broken people, broken vessels to mend us back together and to heal others, So, so I did. At 2 after that, my parents were using. I was about 5. I don't know where we were living, but I know I had to go live with my grandparents. My parents got put in jail, both of them at the same time. They got back out. They were living in a motel. I would go and visit them. They were using then. I know they were. I as a little girl at 5 years old, I knew that they were using drugs. So they would lock themselves in the bathroom, leave me out in the, on the bed. I'd be jumping from bed to bed, and they would come out, and my mom could never look at me. It was always past me when she was high. So it was like I wasn't there. So they cleaned up. They cleaned up for about 3 years. My dad was working in the plants here in Pasadena. He was a pump. He had got his plumbing license when I was younger, because like I said, they would have stints of clean and then screw up. So we did have an apartment. We were living in an apartment when I was 5 and all that. We were stable for a few years, and then that's when they went back to jail. And then at 5. And then I went back to live with my grandparents, went to live with my grandparents. And then we got a place. Again, they got out, straightened up. I remember the day my papa said, I got a surprise for you. You know, because I remember going to visit my mom in county jail and stuff. She never went to state. She did little time compared to the time I've done. She did little time. You know, I think 3 months was the longest she did. But that was a long time for me to be without my mom, even though, you know, I didn't care if, you know, anyways. So they got out and our life got stable again. My dad was working, making good money as a foreman and everything. And we were living in another apartment, and my mom was working too. And I was a latchkey kid at 8. So I would go to school and I would come home and I had my own key. And, you know, about that time is when Super Nintendo came out. So I'd get to come home, play my Mario Brothers, or watch I remember Tiny Toons had just came out. Y'all remember Tiny Toons? I love them and Squeeze It Forever. So yeah, I would come home from school, and, you know, my mom was working at the video store at Jackson Video, and my dad was, you know, working his ass off, and he was a foreman. My dad was a smart, brilliant man. It was just drugs screwed him up, you know. He really was. My mom, too. They were both brilliant people, amazing, hearts of gold, you know. And so, you know, I remember I would wait for my mommy to get off work. It would be like 10 o'clock at night, and I would wait out the window and wait for her to come home. And then she'd get there. Me and my friend always had friends staying the night. We'd get real excited, and then she would take us. And it was so cool back then because you could do things like this. So we'd go crawl in the back of the truck, and she would take us around the neighborhood and drive around. And I've done it with my daughter and her friends. And she would stop at the stop sign, and we would crash up in the front. But that's what we like to do, you know, is they would throw us on the, you know. Dude, we were ruthless back then. It was the 80s, you know, what do you expect? So anyway, so those years of my life were decent. My mom, I remember one time when we were living in that particular apartment, they relapsed, and that was a hard day for me because they had been clean for a couple of years, and I remember it like yesterday. It was 8, and they went and they hid in their room for a while, and they were gone for a couple hours. And I remember my little heart just sank. And I remember when I went and took a shower, and I was getting out of the shower drying off. And I remember my mom coming and saying to me, my mom said something to me, and I just remember being real cold towards her. And I said, I know what you're doing. And I just walked off. And then after that, you know, I think I don't think they did it again after that. I think that was like one time maybe they screwed up. And then they stayed clean again, and we moved over. We finally got to live in a house for a while. We finally lived in a house. It was a little bitty rent house. It was like a madhouse because the concrete was all crooked, you know, and oh my God. And then my parents collected cans, and they were methadone. They were still, no, to remember this, my parents got on methadone when I was a year old. This whole time they're still on methadone, okay? They're not doing the hard drugs, but they're still on methadone. So this whole time they are still on methadone. That's what kept them sober those few years out of that. So I'm grateful for the methadone, because if I wouldn't have had that, who knows, maybe they wouldn't have ever gotten clean. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they would have ended up in prison, you know, or dead, bingo. So I'm grateful for the methadone. So we moved into this house on Rosemead with the creek slanted foundation, and they just, you know, I remember the cans. They collected cans because we didn't have a lot of money, and it was extra money for me, usually probably to buy school clothes or something like that. And we have big wood cockroaches. We have huge, disgust. They really are gross. They are, but they're really not as bad as the little ones. But they're these huge 2-inch, 3-inch, big, long. Well, they're anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 inches long, big, giant, flying cockroaches, and they're attracted to vibrations. So if you walk past them, they fly at you. So but I would walk back there, and sometimes there would be 100 of them in this particular back room. You know, because we had all these cans with Coke and sugar sitting in them. So, yeah, they were drawn to it. But it didn't bother me too much. It didn't, because I had a childhood best friend that lived next door. And my Opal. And she hated being called that. So I called her Nicole. But to this day, she gets called Opal. I will call her Opal if I ever get to see her again, and I love her. But anyway, so I had her. She had the Cinderella kind of upbringing. Savannah, can you please text your dad and let him know I'm doing a video, but that I will text him afterwards? Sorry, guys. Thank you. She's homesick. So anyways, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, back to the house on Rosemead with the cockroaches and the, oh yeah. So anyway, so yeah, that house was, we had a house. Finally, we had a house, and we, you know, with the cockroaches and all that, but that was okay. And we finally got I finally got a dog, Penny. I was 11, and I was a real fat little girl. I ate my feelings. I was teased. I had freckles. I was fat until about 12. You know, you got to think my parents were clean. I didn't relapse again until I was like 12 and a half. So, you know, for these few little years, they're clean and I'm healthy, but I'm still eating my feelings because my parents were still, you know, I've been through a lot already, and I eating my feelings. I was real fat. Got teased. I was a beautiful child, but I just was so fat, you know, and I ate my feelings. I ate them, and I know that now. And so so I got Penny, my golden retriever. Oh, my Nicole, that's right. And so she was my best friend growing up, and she didn't have a real good upbringing, so we had each other. She got physically abused, and mine was, you know, different. I wasn't abused. I was going through what I was going through. So I had her. You know, we had each other. I would have to sneak her notes in this little tree we had. We made tree houses. We did everything together. And I'm so grateful for her. And I love her so much. She has no idea. And I know she loves me just as much. I know she does. And excuse me. So I got my Penny too, my golden retriever. My dad was a real hard ass, and when he said no, he meant no. But I can tell you about my dad. He taught me my manners. You know, when we went out to eat, it was no elbows on the table. Your napkin went in your lap. There was not a time. I was a very, very, very good child, and I know this. There was not a time that I did not say yes sir or no sir to him, or a time in front of him that I did not say yes sir or no sir to anybody that I was talking to, nor did I point the finger at anybody. Yes, Savannah?
I think Dad, he found out that I'm not at school.
Yeah, well, you just let him know what happened. Okay. All right. Yeah, just be honest. So anyways, you know, I had my Penny, and I had Nicole, and we got through that. I was doing really good. I was doing real good. 5th grade, I was straight A, honor roll society, honor student, honors, all straight A's. And then I went on to 6th grade, and I made straight A's again, all through 6th grade, made straight A's. And I got inducted into the Honor Society. I was going to go into the Honor Society in 7th grade. I did. And but over that summer, right after that, was when my parents relapsed. And it was funny again, the whole shower thing. I got out of the shower, went to pull the blue big beach towel down from out of the cabinet, and then boom, a needle. I'm like, fuck. Not again. Here we go again. So that's just when everything just kind of went downhill. I had a bike. I was riding my bicycle a lot. I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. We started smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. I started rebelling. Got kicked out of the Honor Society. Me and my friends, we're still friends today, really good friends. We got kicked out of the Honor Society together, got caught stealing at Astroworld. She got us busted. I did steal. I'm honest about it to this day. I stole Tweety boxers. And funny, they ended up calling me Tweety later on, but I stole Tweety boxers and I put them in my pants. But I didn't get caught. She got caught. But it was all right because I was meant to get caught because I was stealing anyways, right? All dark comes to light. So, but I had tossed the boxers in the bathroom. I was smart. I guess, I don't know, smart, stupid, whatever. I went to the bathroom and took the boxers and put them in the little trash. The little ladies' trash where you put your lady stuff in the bathroom. And but I was busted with her. So, of course, we both got kicked out of the Honor Society. By this time, I didn't give a damn. I didn't care because, my parents didn't care about me anymore, so I really didn't care about myself. So I went on to, so my dad went on to leave. My dad left. He came to me one day, he said, I'm leaving because I've lost all control of you. And I was 13. So that was a tough one. I didn't know. So it was my fault that my parents split up. I took on that a little bit. And so my mom continued to use. Our lights got shut off. I think the water ended up finally getting shut off because I did get to shower one morning before school with the oil lamp. So we ended up, I was dating this guy, Sean. He was my first boyfriend. I was 13, he was 16, and he was a cocaine addict, LSD user. And so he moved in with us. Oh, that's right. I was dating Sean. My dad moved out. He moved in with us over in the house. And he was working, and he was working, and dealing drugs, and he was giving my mom money to live there, and so she wasn't paying rent, she was buying drugs with it. So the landlord kicked us out. My grandmother wouldn't take us in because Sean was living with us. I don't blame her. So we ended up at a crack motel, Tropicana. Even to this day, I drive by it, I'm like, no, I don't have any resentments. No, I really don't. I don't know, maybe I do a little, but I'm part human, so whatever. I don't hold on to it. I don't care. I'm working on me. So we stayed there in the crack motel for 2 weeks. I still went up and went to school. Still got up every morning, went to school, and we were having a hard time keeping this fucking car running that we had. We got screwed over. My mom went and practically gave this nice truck away so she could get a little bit of money. I'm probably suing for drugs, and then get us this motel. And we got excuse my language, we got screwed over with this crappy car and in this motel. But they're getting me to school. I'm still going to school. Okay, I'm not missing school. I'm still going to school. This girl's still going to school. So that's no excuse to not go to school. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm still going to school. And let me tell you, with Sean, he's the one that brought me into the acid. So I tripped for the first time with him. And it was good at first, and then this other guy we were with started having a bad trip. So I never did acid again until I met my my first husband, 14 or 15 maybe. And so anyways, so I ended up, my grandpa, my mom, my nana said enough is enough, and they put their foot down. My nanny took me out of Pasadena school. She put me over in Deer Park. We moved in with her. I was still dating Sean, but he had went back to live with his mom, He was abusive physically, mentally. I was not allowed to wear what I wanted to wear. Me and my dad were still trying to have a relationship a little bit. I wanted this time, and he had bought me some nice Doc Martens for Christmas and this cute little jumper. I loved that jumper with my little knee-highs, doggins, and I wasn't allowed to wear those. I would have to sneak that out. I was afraid he was watching me going to school, all kinds of stuff. I would take this stuff to school. He wanted me to wear old t-shirts and jeans and my Converse, and that was it. So I ended up, got smart. My mom had enough. She was about, they had enough. They were fucking enough is enough, Robin. And I said, that's enough is enough. So finally I shut it down completely, especially after I found out he was cheating on me. And then that's when I was like, oh no, oh hell no, boy, bye. So his mistake, his loss, who cares? So it was a good thing for me. So I went on and I was doing my thing at school, kind of still being me. I was still making good grades, passing. They were still passing me. I was barely going to school. I took up for all my people, even whenever I got, ended up getting kicked out of Deer Park. I had a girl that was a friend of mine, and then went and was talking behind my back. So I went and assaulted her, and got kicked out at Deer Park and got sent back over to Pasadena, which is, yeah. So I went back over to Pasadena, and there is when I got into a huge fight, got sent to guidance center, met a counselor, by then I had just met my first husband, and so I got sent to guidance center. The counselor said, I went and talked to this counselor. I told him what was going on. I was dating a guy that was in college, and I wanted to go to college. And so, yeah, that was true. But also, we were doing a lot of pills, dealing hardcore drugs. He was 23. I was 14 going on 15. I lied to him about my age. I was an old soul. So, everything was consensual. Nowadays, yeah, he probably would have gotten a lot of trouble if they found out about it. But back then, it was just, things were different, and I was an old soul. So it didn't matter, and I feel like he stepped in and he did save my life. And I met my first husband, and we stayed together 16 years. And, we dealt, the Xanax, the Rohypnol, Valium, marijuana, everything. We sold all that, and we did that for years and years and years. So I was taking Xanax from the time I was 15 on up to the time I was 32, pretty much every day. I got on the methadone when I was 22. And, I've been to jail several times. It started when I was 18. I was a kleptomaniac. And so I would steal anything I got my hands on. And God let me get away with a lot, but I also went to jail a lot, in and out of prison. I went to prison the first time when I was 23. I was 5 months pregnant with my middle son. I didn't get out till my oldest son was 3. And my baby was 18 months, or 15 months, I'm sorry. I went back to state jail, prison, TDC, whatever. When I was 27, I did another 9 months. I've been in and out of Harris County. My husband, my first husband, he had a horrible genetic eye disease, retinitis pigmentosus, that he was born with. And so that was real hard for me to deal with. His eyesight, he was losing his eyesight, and the boys were little, and I didn't have college behind me, and, so I just hustled, and I waitressed a lot, and I always made good money, and we made it, and he was getting a little bit of money from the Social Security and disability, and there was a time when he was able to work, he did work, but I was always working. I started working at 14, and I went into, after Dairy Queen, I went and stayed at Dairy Queen. At 16, I was a assistant manager at a Dairy Queen, shift manager, whatever. I was at 18, Claire's, I was a manager at 16. I worked in retail. 18, I was assistant manager at Camelot. I worked at Sam Goody. I did all that. I worked. I've always worked. I went into, I tried to do the retail, but I couldn't once I started getting my charges. So that ended that. And that's when I really had to go into waitressing and cocktail waitressing. I did a lot of cocktail waitressing, made a ton of money doing that. And then that cocktail waitressing took me into strip clubs. And so I said, oh my God, that money looks so much bigger and easier on the other side. So that's what led me into the dancing. And, hey, my husband had to allow it at that time because, at this time we were kind of drifting apart, and I was growing, and anyways, so our thing was, as long as I'm home by the time the boys get up in the morning and they know that I wasn't, that as long as I get home and just look responsible, and so the boys don't, like I said, know that I'm home by the time the boys got up and went to school, and I was able to get them off to school and stuff, that was fine. And we both knew that it wasn't going to work. We both knew, and we knew that it just wasn't meant to be. And so that's what I did. I was a dancer, and at times I hated it, and at times I loved it. And then in 2011, a man walked into my life, and we used together, and he's the one that gave me my daughter, and he's my twin flame, the man I'm with today. And so, that's a little bit about me. I think I want to stop right there. I will say that I did My whole life has been finding God. I did find God in prison and started reading the Bible, etc., etc. But my big awakening when I met God face to face was in 2020, right before the world shut down. And he told me what he did. So, it is what it is. But also, I wanted to go over the Tree of Life meditation. So it's very important that we know, if I can get my cat off my board, my Stevie. It's very important that we know these 10 spheres. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over them with you. I'm not going to go over the pillars and everything in the back. I will let you know a little detail, but I'm just going to go over the 10 spheres today. Or I'm going to try to get through them. If not, I'm going to try to not make the video longer than an hour, because I know after an hour, it's, people start checking out. I would lose interest or whatever. So I'll try to keep my videos to about an hour. But so what you would do when you do this meditation or ritual, whatever you want to call it, when you do this, you're going to want to set it up just like you do the middle pillar. So you'll start out with the QC, then you'll go into vibrating the God names for the 10 spheres. Then you're going to go through the normal rotation of rotating, circling that energy throughout your aura and your body. And just the normal way. So the only thing is this one takes a lot longer. Middle pillar, 30 minutes, you're looking at, it just depends. You can go through this in 30 minutes if you want. But the longer, more work you put into it, the better the outcome. And that's with anything, with anything, not just magic, with anything. Anybody's passion or job or anything, that's what's important, that you love what you do. And that's why I'm so grateful today to find something that I finally loved. And that was my problem. My whole life I was searching. I couldn't find anything that I loved, where I fit in. I wanted to be successful so bad. I ached for success. I ached for it. And I know that I'll find success in this, because I know this is my passion, and to finally have found my passion, I'm just so grateful. So if you've got your passion in your life, if you've already got that, boy, you are blessed. And if you haven't, you will. Especially if you're doing this work. This work is what will bring you the passion into your life. You just do the work, and then everything else comes to you. It's that simple. Yes, I've done the work. Yes, I put my mind into it. Yes, I've sat still. But it's just kind of come to me. This has been easy work compared to all the other crap I've had to go through in my life. Dude, to be able to just to sit still and relax and talk to God and get to feed off that source energy, I just wish everybody could do that, and even if you can't do it for hours in a day, 30 minutes a day is all you need. 30 minutes a day, that's it. So like I said, you're going to start off with the QC. And then you're going to go through and you're going to vibrate, and you're going to go through each sphere, and you'll start with Kether, of course. And that's going to be, excuse me guys, I'll put this right here. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, so you're going to start with Kether. And that is also Kether, and that's where you're going to vibrate Ehyeh. Okay, and also you'll vibrate Metatron, just like you do in the middle pillar. And this is your attainment. It's a divine spark. This is the truth. Doing this with the middle pillar, I know is what this is the source. This is the start of where you're bringing that God source energy right here. So right here this is the start of it all, attainment. This is the spark right here. This is what you need. Right here, Ehyeh. And this would be Metatron. So when you vibrate Ehyeh, you're vibrating that on an internal level. And when you're vibrating Metatron on an external level. And that's the way I look at it. another thing I heard, and I want to pass on the information. I don't want to forget. But, and I already knew this because I said, but, they say lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram. But I would love to just take that out of there, just like this other gentleman said, and just leave it the lesser ritual pentagram, the lesser pentagram ritual. Because it's very deceiving. Just because it's invoking, banishing, I believe, yes, you should do separately what they say, invoke and then banish, morning and evening, and I do that. But you can banish in the morning. You can start from the bottom, too. It serves the same purpose. So, it's flexible. It's flexible like that. Okay, and this is your union with God, your Eheya, and this is number 1. Okay, Metatron, number 1. He is one with God. Okay, then we're going to go down to 2, which is your left side of your brain. Okay, and that's Hokmah. Okay, and that's your father. That's wisdom. Hokmah is wisdom. Brown. You're going to picture the sphere brown, and you're going to picture the spheres just like you do in the middle pillar. The same way, like a plate, like a small dinner plate circling. But right here, I picture mine right in my head and right beside it. Okay? Because it's when you want it to reach all your bodies. That's how I picture it. Okay? Your etheric, your subtle bodies, all that. That's what I mean by bodies. Okay? So this is brown. And this is, so when you vibrate on an internal level, this is Yah. So just Yah. Y-A-H-H. Yah. Okay. And on the external level for your angel, it's Raziel. Okay. Angel of wisdom. This brown wing. However you want, brown robe. I mean, he holds a book. And, once you start moving through these pillars and stuff, he'll speak to you. And he is also the fear of the Lord is where this starts. Vision of God face to face. I remember this day. I know God very well. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The Lord. Yah means the Lord. And this is right under is where the abyss sits. Through death. Remember, Hokmah is wise, Father. Is wisdom, force too, and in devotion. This is falls into that. And again, we're gonna vibrate the word Yah. Yah. Right. Then we'll move over to number 3, and that's Binah. This is the right side of your brain, and this is this is superior mother. This is Yod Hey Vav Hey, and this is the right side of your brain. This is the girl that you really want to open up, and this is going to be on your severity side of your pillar, on your right side. This is going to be your right side's going to be your female side, even though now when you get down to your last sphere on your hips, it's switched. Because it's called balance, because Papa wants everything in balance. So we have to have that balance. So, on each hip, it switches. So, but for now, on your upper 2 pillars, okay, your right is your female. So your Binah is the right side of your brain, superior mother, rest. It's Yod Hey Vav Hey, which means the Lord God. So you'll vibrate Yod Hey Vav Hey on an internal level, and then on an external level you'll vibrate and this is Zafkiel, and she will be an angel with black robes, and she holds a hourglass, a timer. Yeah. She's shy. You have to get to know a lot of these angels. A lot of them, you have to work with them for a while until you start. They got to get to know you. You're working with, you got to look at this like you're working with entities. Okay? And these are entities that understand what's going on. So live entities. you know, that you can't see. That's the way you got to look at it. I try not to just look at it, you know, some strings of energy. I try to look at it a lot more than that, because I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So, but it's a good concept to think. Strings of energy, I use that too. But no, the great one of the night of time. I love that. The great one of the night of time. Vision of sorrow. This work's not easy. You know, a lot of tears you shed, but as I said, you take the good with the bad and you transmute. That's what you learn to do. You learn to transmute the negative energy into positive energy and use it for your own good or for the good of others, like I'm doing. And this is Saturn. Okay, Saturn. Hokmah, I want to say, is the zodiac. Okay, so Binah, Saturn, rest, Yod He Vav He, the Lord God, vision of sorrow, superior mother, the great sea, Amma, the dark sterile mother, creator of faith. So, all right, we'll move on down to Da'ath. Da'ath. And now this is not this is your hidden sphere. This is hidden knowledge. And Da'ath, I picture this a light blue or blue, whatever, you know, light blue, grayish blue. Hidden knowledge. And you can vibrate. You will vibrate when you are internally. It'd be Yod He Vav He Elohim. And externally, you can vibrate Uriel. A lot of people use Uriel. You can use Alexarpa, Kamananu, or Tabitam. And the winged serpents is maybe what rules over that, they say. Change of key. I feel like change of key, I get that. It's done a lot for me. Hidden knowledge, yeah. This is important, and this is why the middle pillar is so important, because, and you know, this is why you start doing this after the middle pillar. So, you know, this is something you'll start doing after you've been doing the middle pillar, say, for about 6 months. You know, get to know the middle pillar very well. Get to know its energy, what it does for you. Then you move on to bigger, better things. It's a process. And Papa has to remind me that all the time. All the time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, all right. So we're going to go on from Da'ath. All right. And we're taking it on down to number 4, which is Hesed. And that's going to be Zadkiel. Hesed is going to be, so Da'ath, I picture like a light bluish gray. Now Hesed on the shoulder, the left shoulder, is going to be blue. Okay, and when you picture Zadkiel, you're going to picture him with a blue robe as well. And I believe he holds a scepter. Okay, so, but you can picture him however you want. You can picture these angels however you want. There is no rule. Don't let anybody tell you how you should imagine things. It is your imagination. Okay? All right. So this is Hesed. And that's Zadkiel. The Chazmalim are the group of angels that he comes from, the brilliant ones that are with him that help control this sphere. Jupiter. This is Jupiter. This is Jupiterian, excuse me. It's the allergies. Energy. Hesed is mercy and obedience. And as you work through these, you'll get to know them a little better. And I'm still working on these through them too. And this is just this is information that I wanted to pass on to y'all that I've been able to research and look up. This is vision of love. And this is going to be, Vegadula. Sorry, on the left side. This is your Vegadula. You know, and you know that from when you do the QC. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, QC. I do so much of it. It's like, I do a lot. I do several hours a day of it over and over and over and over again, because that's what I have to do. So, and that's what I like to do. It, like I said, it keeps my mind off of other things, and this is what I need to be doing. This is my passion. This is what God has brought into my life to bring into other people's lives. So, going for it. I love it. It's my passion. And so Hesed is also wise and kind king, the ruler of his people. This is Jupiter, vision of love, the mighty one. And you're going to vibrate El, E-L. El means God. El. And then, so on an internal, you'll vibrate El. And on external, you'll vibrate Zadkiel. So we'll move over to the right shoulder. And this is Geborah. And this is number 5. And he's going to be she, because this is on your female side right here. Remember, Banal, female. Geborah, she's female too. Female, Mars. This is Mars. This is my day. This is Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. This is my day, Tuesdays. And this is why a lot of people have a lot of energy. If you're getting in sync with the universe, then on Tuesdays, you're going to have more energy, and you're going to be ready to work and just, be careful with arguments and stuff. Because you might be a little more passionate about your argument. I'm just saying. This is your sphere of severity. This is your warrior king or queen. Fiery, destructive force. Sometimes we need wars. It is what it is. It is what it is, people. We don't judge God. We don't ask him what he does, why he does things. Why he doesn't. We don't question God. I don't. So on an internal level, you're gonna vibrate Elohim Geborah. Elohim Geborah. And on an external level, you're going to vibrate Kamael or Samael. Kamael. And this is courage and strength. Vision of power. This isn't, like I said, Mars. This is ego in there. You got to balance it. You got tons of energy. The god of battles. So the Geborah is needed. It's all needed. It's all a necessity, and it's all about balancing them all together. And that's why I've been working on these here recently. And like I said, I sit through this. It takes me a couple hours to work through this, but I'm really working on it too. So we're gonna move on from Geborah, from the right shoulder. We're gonna move on from her onto the center right here in the chest, and that's your Tiphareth center. All right, and it's gonna be yellow, and this is hermaphroditic, I believe. And Malek, the king, it says. You're going to vibrate on an internal level, Yod He Vav He Elovadath. And then on an external level, you can vibrate Raphael, or you can also use Mikael. So whichever one your little heart desires or you're pulled to. This is the Raphael, the divine physician. This is this is where your healing comes in through your Tiphareth center. This is where you will cross the veil of Paraketh, or Paroketh, or whatever you want to, however you want to say it. The Tiphareth is a very big point of awakening. It's a lot of things start coming and making sense when you get down into Tiphareth. It's beauty and harmony, and it's your Christ center, and this is where really Kether really starts to shine down, and then also Malkuth too is coming up. So it's like I said, beauty and harmony. It's a balance. It's let's see what it says. Shemesh, solar light. It's your solar light, devotional mysticism. Yes, it connects you to your higher self, just like I said. Melech, the king, and the Vela Paraketh is right behind that. The Redeemer, the solar fire. This is number 6. Yod He Vav He Elo Vada'ath. Tiphareth. Okay, so we're going to move on from Tiphareth. We're going to move on down to the left hip, which is green. And that's going to be, excuse me, I should have put that down. My bad roof in the background. Don't judge me. Anyways, so we're going to go on to the left hip, and that's going to be your Netzach. And that's beauty. And she's green. And so you're going to vibrate on the internal level. Yod, He, Vav, He, Zaba'ath. And on an external level, you'll vibrate Hanael or Haniel. And this is the goddess of nature. This would be like Venus, Aphrodite. Through sound, dance, art, and music. So I've experienced this, and I still experience it. The energy of Netzach is a beautiful thing, and she uses sound and music to come through. And when you vision Hanael, you vision her at seafoam green. So this is like this isn't just regular green, this is a seafoam green. And she's got roses on her gown, little roses, and she smells of roses. Victory, firmness. This is where you learn love and unselfishness. This is important to bring this into your aura. This is number 7. Beauty is Netzach. Instincts. The goddess of nature. Aphrodite, Venus. And so then we'll move on from Netzach over to the right hip, which is Hod. And that's your Mercury energy. Also, that'll be Friday. And back to Netzach, I'm sorry. That's Venus, and that's Friday. And then you're going to move over to your right hip. And remember what I said, because you needed the female Netzach over here with the 2 guys, right? They didn't want to be alone. And then they needed that female energy to balance them out. Guys don't realize that. They're so egotistical sometimes. So anyway, so you move on over to women too. Excuse me. You move on over to Hod. And you got the male energy hanging out with the 2 chicks over here. And he's on your right hip. And he's over here, and his name is you vibrate Michael for Hod, Mercury. And they also say Raphael. So the thing is you can switch up Tiphareth and Hod. You can switch up your center, your chest, or your right hip. So you can switch that up from Michael to Raphael. Whatever, because I've heard use both. So I've been trying them both, and both equally important, equally good. So Hod is number 8, and that's your glory. And this orange is going to be the color of the sphere. And on an internal level, you're going to vibrate Elohim Zaba'ath. And not, like in Netzach, it's Yod He Vav He Zaba'ath. But over here on Hod is Elohim Zaba'ath. And that's Michael or Raphael. And this is from the God of Hosts, the group of angels is the Beni Elohim. And he is God of magic, Lord of books and learning. This is Wednesdays. This is important energy. All the energy is important. Every energy is equally important to the other. Just like each individual person, is needed in this world. We all serve a purpose. Whether we think a person doesn't serve a purpose or not, they do. So, God has a plan. God's plans are bigger than ours, and, they're coming to, he's slowly showing himself. So it takes time. Look how long it took for him to come back to Moses. 400 years. Sometimes he has to let man wreak its own havoc, and then has to come step back in later on just to show him, hey, this is what y'all are capable of. Get your shit together. It's just, he's like that sometimes. So, all right. So back to Ho. This is your magical workings. Yes, absolute perfect intelligence. You know, truthfulness is the good thing about it. Sometimes I just don't know what to say. And the bad thing about this one is, you know, people that aren't balanced in their Hod are dishonest. I used to be so unbalanced on everything, you know, but once you're balanced in the sphere, you're honest. Yeah, and so number 8, it's intellect as well. All right. Oh, thought as well. He's the main one of the Hod as well. So, all right. So we're gonna move on down. So we move from the on down. Excuse me, guys. We moved on down. We're moving on down to Yesod. Yesad's gonna be purple, and of course it's gonna be. We've talked about Yesod. It's sphere purple. Shaddai El Hai. It's going to be right there down in your private area. It's the purple sphere, you know, size of a small dinner plate, just like all the rest. And circling in a clockwise position. You should feel, you know, once you get to know your body a little better and start meditating and start doing this and bringing the energy through your body, you'll be able to feel the energy once it's, you'll be able to feel it when it's off balance. You'll be able to feel when it's balanced. You'll be like, oh, yeah, my energy is not good. I got to, you know. And then once you're slowly working on it, you'll notice changes, not just external changes, but internal changes as well. And you'll know what I'm talking about. So we're going to move on down to number 9, purple sphere, Yesod. This is one of my favorites. Gabriel. So on an internal level, you will vibrate Shaddai El Hai. On an external level, you're going to vibrate Gabriel. And this is where your psychic abilities come to play. So when you notice that things that your psychic abilities are getting a little stronger, that means that you're building in this sphere. It means you're awakening it and you're starting to play a little bit more. And Gabriel is starting to allow you to have excuse me, I'm sorry. Gabriel is allowing you to have these visions and stuff, etc. You know, you don't just do this work overnight and then have, well, sometimes you do. You know, you do. I mean, sometimes it's instant. You know, I've done it right when I started, and then, I started having some pretty cool dreams, and, spirits will come to you. Kind of opens. So that's why it's important, because you are turning your light on in the darkness. So things will be drawn to you. That's why it's important to just do the work correctly out until you do it, and then you won't have any issues. So back to Yesod. This is moon. This is your lunar energy. This is radiance. This is soul. This is your nefesh. This is where your nefesh is too. You know, that's why it's important to nurture that. We've talked about that before. The mistress of witchcraft. Keepers of the Akasha, yes. So if you wanted to, ask for specific information from out of the Akasha, maybe you were needing some information on a past life or something, this is maybe where you would go to ask Gabriel for that, you know. The sphere of the Holy Spirit, the enlightener. Yes, she is. She is female to me. I see her as female. Oh, also this is working in your the sphere of your ether, etheric energy from the moon. So this is getting in sync with the moon. It's important. It's important. Okay, now I'm gonna try to wrap this up, y'all. It's been almost an hour. So now we're gonna go on down to the last sphere, number 10, and that's your Malkuth, and that's your Adonai Aharetz. That's what you'll vibrate on an external level, and on an internal level, you'll vibrate the angel Sandalphon. That is the angel that subsides over this sphere, and this is the inferior mother Okay, so remember the superior mother is up here at Banal, your right side. Malkuth, that's your feet. This is your feet. This here at your feet. Right where your feet at the bottom, right there. Okay. This is Sandalphon. So on the external level, you'll vibrate for Sandalphon. Okay, and this is, they also call him Emma, the bright, fertile mother. The inferior mother, the bride, the Isis of nature. One great magnet, because remember, the moon is our positive. We are the negative. Okay. So this is the magnet. This is the universe under here, you know. The Ashim, the souls of fire. It has the angels. And the Lord of the earth. Adonai Acharetz means the Lord of the earth. I just love that. I just love it. Knowledge and conversation with the HGA as well. If you want to get to know your HGA, she or he will come about. You know. So, yes, I was gifted mine, but I also had to work to figure out who was that. So then I figured it out. So yeah, don't judge me. That was not easy. Imagine that. Try that. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all. So I'll be back with you guys next week, you know. I love y'all, and I hope everybody's doing good. And if y'all need anything, you can always reach out to me through my Facebook page, The High Magic Experience in H-Town. And you can private message me if you need anything. I am an energy healer as well. And, you know, I'm just trying to work with my gifts as well. I'm not asking for any money. I don't ask for anything like that. I'm still learning my gifts as well. And if you need something, please reach out to me. All right? All right, I love you guys, and I'll see y'all soon. All right, have a beautiful, blessed Tuesday, and appreciate the rest of your week. The rest of the week will be better, and I'm saying that to me and to everybody else, okay? All right, I love you guys. Y'all have a very blessed day.